Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, May the 15th, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have had a great week, great weekend. I know that I have been away from the channel once again for more than a few days, but I've been busy, working quite a bit, and you are going to reap the benefits this week. First off, the mailbag is another good strong one. Got a ton of stuff in from Random Penguin. Huge batch, so we're going to get into those. And also, let's see, tomorrow morning, new review at long last. And let me tell you, it has been a minute since I have absolutely unloaded on a book. And so, yeah, this one is going to be cathartic, shall we say. So enjoy that. Look forward to that tomorrow morning. And there's also a very, very good chance of yet a second review video coming up maybe by, let's say, Friday. I think that's a good time frame to aim for that one. So yeah, finally going to start paying off in some new content. But apart from that, no real news. Let's go ahead, not waste any further time, and get into these books. Okay, so starting off, this is the only white envelope this week, something from the Macmillan folks. So let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. All right, then we're going to start this week with the hardcover, finished hardcover, of Fractal Noise. This is Christopher Paolini's new book in his Fractal Universe science fiction series, following To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. Although this is a prequel to that book set much earlier in the history of this future. This is a much shorter book. It's only about like 300 pages or so, as opposed to 800 something. So that is a positive choice. On the negative side, Tor has already taken major flack for this cover image right here, which is AI generated. Tor, I don't think, has addressed, has responded to this whole controversy very well. So demerit there. But as for the book itself, well, we will wait and see. You all have seen my review of To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. You know how I felt about this book. But maybe the new one is a little bit different, a little tighter, a little shorter. On July 25th, 2234, the crew of the Otomura discovers the anomaly on the seemingly uninhabited planet Talos 7, a circular pit 50 kilometers wide, its curve not of nature, but design. Now a small team must land and journey on foot across the surface to learn who built the hole and why. But they all carry the burdens of lives carved out on disparate colonies in the cruel cold of space. For some, the mission is the dream of a lifetime, for others a risk not worth taking, and for one it is a desperate attempt to find meaning in an uncaring universe. Each step they take towards the mysterious abyss is more punishing than the last, and the ghosts of their past follow. I mean, to be fair, it does sound like a much better story. Again, no awards for originality, but who cares? I mean, if you make it a good, thrilling adventure all the same. But this book kind of comes to us under a cloud. Still, we'll see, right? It is out on, tomorrow, May the 16th. Okay, next up we have one in from Angry Robots. Well, this is very nice to see. This is the finished copy in trade paperback of the new book by Stephen Aryan. It's called The Judas Blossom. It is a historical fantasy, and I've read it because I was one of the online reviewers. There are a good handful of us who were asked by Angry Robot, by Carolyn at Angry Robot High, to blurb this one. And so I got very early galleys and read this earlier this year. And so I am pull quoted in here, along with some other names you might recognize. And yes, the Judas Blossom, it will be out on the 11th of July, excuse me. And so closer to that time is when you will see my full-length review here on the channel and my website and what have you. But for now, I'll go ahead and read the sell sheet, which says it's an imaginative and sprawling epic fantasy, reimagining the Mongol Empire's invasion of Persia, following the lives and treacherous journeys of 4 key figures in the heart of war. 1260, Persia. Due to the efforts of the great Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire covers a vast portion of the known world. In the shadow of his grandfather, Hulagu, ruler of the Ilkhanate, is determined to create a single empire that covers the entire world. His method? Violence. His youngest son, Temujin, struggles to find his place in his father's bloody rule. After another failure, Temujin is given one last chance to prove himself to Hulagu, who is sure there is a great warrior buried deep inside. But there's something else rippling under the surface, something far more powerful and dangerous than they could ever imagine. And that's where I'm going to stop reading the blurb. But this is book one of, I think, a new trilogy called The Nightingale and the Falcon. And as I said, it will be out July 11th from Angry Robot. And next up, we have this one in from HarperCollins. This is The Endless Vessel. It's a new novel by Charles Sewell. A few years ago, he had a book come out called The Oracle Year, which got some very good buzz. This one will be out June the 6th. And it says it's a timely and muscular exploration of humankind's relationship to joy, the lengths to which we go to obtain it, and the ways we convince ourselves we have it. With a typically inventive narrative that travels from Hong Kong to England to post-revolution America and across the seven seas, this visionary writer further extends the boundaries of his storytelling art. A piece of impossible technology and the search for its creators. A centuries-long quest to defeat death. A woman whose only goal is to bring joy to humanity no matter the cost. The greatest treasure ever found, a ship whose voyage will last forever. This is the Endless Vessel. Wow, okay. Lily Barnes, a materials engineer living in Hong Kong a few years from now, stumbles across a device full of secrets that overturn her assumptions about the world. The machine seems to be addressing Lily directly, calling out to her, asking her to follow a path to whatever lies at its end. Lily sets out to find the people who built it, leaving her life behind, traveling the world and across the seven seas. There are, in fact, exactly 7. We've established 7. For Lily and for the reader, the question is the same. How far would you go to be happy? And then it goes on from there. Sounds really interesting and unusual. So yes, this will be out June the 6th from Harper. Charles Sewell's The Endless Vessel. Okay, now I have kind of a cardboard package here, and I don't know who it's from. Oh, okay, it's good old Stelliform Press. Right on. Okay, they had a book in the last episode of the Mailbag, and now there are 2 this week. Okay, the first of these is You Are My Sunshine and Other Stories. This is a new collection by an author named Octavia Cade, who is very highly acclaimed in the kind of realm of literary speculative fiction, as it were, and so this is a new collection. So, what does it say? It says, sometimes change can hurt. This collection of short stories traces the growing pains of a new world, beginning with the death throes of our current way of life, and ending with a world transformed by science and technology and by grief, hope, love, and humanity's will to transform. This is a collection that will both tear you apart and tend to your wounds. Cade's beautifully wrought stories are informed by science, tracing the biological and emotional threads that bind us, human and non-human alike. Containing a brand new novelette in the Impossible Resurrection of Grief universe, and that's a novella that she put out a couple of years ago. So, You Are My Sunshine and Other Stories is a promise of what worlds are possible if we allow ourselves to change. Okay, and so this is either out now or coming very soon from Stelliform Press. And along with that one, there is this new short novel called Sordides, I think. Hope I didn't mangle the pronunciation of that, but the author is E.G. Condé. And this one says, this is kind of interesting, even after the hydrophage, the land remembers. So it's kind of climate fiction, as it were. Vero has always felt at odds with his community. As a trans man in near-future Puerto Rico, he struggles to gain acceptance for his identity and his vision of an inclusive society. After a hurricane decimates the island and Puerto Rico is abandoned by the United States, well, that's happened, actually. Vero leaves his home to petition the centralized government for aid and seek the truth about new colonists arriving on the island. But in the Yucatan, Vero finds a landscape ravaged by an ecological disaster of humanity's own making, the hydrophage, a climate technology warped into a weapon of war and released onto the land by the dictator Caudillo. Amidst the destruction, Vero finds both desperation and hope for regrowth as he documents the lives of the survivors. Details about the colonists' intentions emerge when Vero meets the Loba Roja, an anti-Caudillo revolutionary who imagines the renewed power of the Maya. Intrigued by her vision of the future and by her unapologetic violence, Vero is faced with life-changing questions. Can an indigenous resurgence protect his beloved island? And what must he sacrifice to support it? Wow, okay. Well, quite a lot going on in this little book, I must say, but it is Sordides by E.G. Condé from Stelliform Press. All right, then, I guess it's time to go ahead and crack into these random penguin books, shall we? Okay, well, it cannot be denied. This first one is a very highly sought-after arc. This is Pierce Brown's Lightbringer. Yes, this is the first of two new Red Rising novels that he's announced, expanding upon that series. This one is out July the 25th of this year. Don't want to go ahead and read anything that could be spoilery from the synopsis, but, you know, if you, if you know this series, you know this series. And this was a very exciting announcement for fans of that series. So, July 25th from Del Rey Books, Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. I gotta say, it is nice to be getting books from Del Rey once again. It's been a long drought for them, but looks like they're stepping up to the plate, because this next one is the arc for Black River Orchard. It's the new horror novel by Chuck Wendig. Very excited for this one. This comes out September the 26th. And, yeah, let's see what I can tell you about this. It says, a small town is transformed by dark magic when 7 strange trees begin bearing magical apples in this masterpiece of horror from the best-selling author of Wanderers and the Book of Accidents. It's autumn in the town of Harrow, but something else is changing in the town besides the season. Because in that town there is an orchard, and in that orchard 7 most unusual trees. And from those trees grows a new sort of apple, strange, beautiful, with skin so red it's nearly black. Take a bite of one of these apples, and you will desire only to devour another, and another. You will become stronger, more vital, more yourself, you will believe. But then your appetite for the apples and their peculiar gifts will keep growing and become darker. This is what happens when the townsfolk discover the secret of the orchard. Soon it seems that everyone is consumed by an obsession with the magic of the apples. And what's the harm, if it's making them all happier, more confident, more powerful? But now the leaves are falling, the days grow darker, it's harvest time, and the town will soon reap what it has sown. Right on. So there we are. It is Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig, available September the 26th. And the Del Rey arcs continue. Okay, this is a new from Connie Willis. Nice to see a new book from her. This one, I'm not sure if this is going to be the finished cover or not, but this appears to be a bit more lighthearted than we usually expect from her. This comes out on June the 22nd. It's called The Road to Roswell. And it says, a delightful novel about alien invasions, conspiracies, and the incredibly silly things people are willing to believe in, some of which may actually be true, from the Nebula and Hugo Award-winning author of Blackout and All Clear. When level-headed Francie arrives in Roswell, New Mexico for her college roommate's UFO-themed wedding, complete with a true believer bridegroom, she can't help but roll her eyes at all the wide-eyed talk of aliens which obviously don't exist. Imagine her surprise, then, when she gets abducted by one. Odder still, her abductor is far from what the popular media might have led her to expect, with a body like a tumbleweed and a mass of lightning-fast tentacles. Nor is Francie the only victim of the alien's abduction spree. Before long, he has acquired a charming conman named Wade, a sweet little old lady with a casino addiction, a retiree with a huge RV and a love for old westerns, and a UFO-chasing nutjob who is thoroughly convinced the alien's main intention is to probe them and or take over the planet. But the more Francie gets to know the alien, the more convinced she is that he's not an invader, that he's in trouble, and that she's got to help him. Only she doesn't know how to, or even what the trouble is. Part alien abduction adventure, part road trip, part romantic comedy, The Road to Roswell is packed full of men in black, Elvis impersonators, tourist traps, rattlesnakes, chemtrails, and close encounters of the third, fourth, fifth kind. Can Francie, stuck in a lime green bridesmaid's dress, save the world and still make it back for the wedding? Well, then I guess we will find out in The Road to Roswell, available June the 22nd from Del Rey Books. And next up, this is an arc for In an Orchard Grown from Ash. It's by Rory Power. It's the second book. It's the sequel to In a Garden Burning Gold. And even though this is an arc, according to, it says right here, it seems to be already out. It says it came out on May the 2nd. So maybe it's out in stores right now, or who knows. But let's see what I can say. To you, siblings torn apart by betrayal grapple with their broken bonds and fight to regain their power in this stunning conclusion to a mythic epic fantasy duology from the author of Wilder Girls. Okay, and yeah, all right, I'm not going to go ahead and read very much here so as to avoid spoilers for the first book, but it says it's the dramatic finale of a darkly beautiful atmospheric saga that explores the cost of power and the weight of legacy in an orchard grown from ash by Rory Power from Del Rey Books. And this one is The Battle Drum by Sara El Arifi. This is the sequel to The Final Strife, and it is book 2 of the Ending Fire trilogy. Okay, so The Final Strife got some very good buzz. It was very well liked among fans. So The Battle Drum, it says, will be out at the end of this month, the 23rd of May. And what I will tell you about it, so as to avoid spoilers, basically is that it says, Murder, Secret, Sacrifice. 3 women seek the truth of the Empire's past, and the truth they find has the power to ignite a war. A visionary fantasy trilogy inspired by Africa and Arabia. Okay then, so, as I said, out on May the 23rd from Del Rey Books, Book 2, The Battle Drum. And the final package from Random Penguin is not a Del Rey book, and it's not an arc. This is from Ace. It's in hardcover, finished copy, as you can see. And as you can also see, it is the book that wouldn't burn. A new book by Mark Lawrence, the first in yet a new series. This came out last week, May the 9th. And yes, it's a big one this time, much bigger than either the Books of the Ice or the other most recent series. So, but let's say, perfect for fans of Patrick Rothfuss, Aaron Morgenstern, and Genevieve Cogman. The Book That Wouldn't Burn is a captivating fantasy story that follows 2 strangers who find themselves connected by a mysterious and vast library, which contains many wonders and even more secrets. Okay, and that is all the sell sheet is telling me. I don't want to bother reading the flap. You can kind of see for yourself. But anyway, The Book That Wouldn't Burn, available now in hardcover from Ace Books. And finally, we've got a hefty box, but this one says it's from Macmillan. Okay. Okay, well, these are a couple of finished copies in hardcover that the Tor publicist has very kindly sent me, so thank you so much. And these books are already out in release. This is Furious Heaven to start off with by Kate Elliott. This is the second volume in the Sun Chronicles, which is her current massive epic space opera trilogy or series, trilogy at the very least, I'm going to assume. But yeah, see, this one there are no sell sheets in here, but it just says, yeah, Furious Heaven is Kate Elliott's highly anticipated sequel to the thrilling space adventure Unconquerable Sun. The Republic of Cheonia fleets, under the joint command of Princess Sun and her formidable mother, Queen Marshal Irene, have, done stuff in Book 1 that I won't spoil for you if you haven't read them. But anyway, yes, Furious Heaven. Love these covers. Available now in hardcover from Tor. And last but not least, this is In the Lives of Puppets, a new book by T.J. Klune, very popular writer, although I'm hearing some mixed reviews of this one, but, so take that as you will. But what does it say? In a strange little home built into the branches of a grove of trees live 3 robots. Fatherly inventor android Giovanni Lawson, a pleasantly sadistic nurse machine, and a small vacuum desperate for love and attention. Victor Lawson, a human, lives there too. They're a family, hidden and safe. Then one day, Vic salvages and repairs an unfamiliar android labeled Hap, and he learns of a shared dark past between Hap and Geo, a past spent hunting humans. When Hap unwittingly alerts robots from Geo's former life to their whereabouts, the family is no longer hidden and safe. Geo is captured and taken back to his old laboratory in the city of Electric Dreams. So together, the rest of Vic's assembled family must journey across an unforgiving and otherworldly country to rescue Geo from decommissioning, or worse, reprogramming. Along the way to save Geo, amid conflicted feelings of betrayal and affection for Hap, Vic must decide for himself, can he accept love with strings attached? Okay. Well, there we are in The Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune, and it is available now in hardcover from Tor Books. And there you have it. That's all I have for the mailbag this week. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. And also, if you enjoyed watching, please hit the like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe if you have not done so. That is how the channel grows. You can also support my channel at the TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like early access to some of my videos when I finish them in time. What I do with that money is pay Matt Olson, my brilliant and gifted, talented channel artist who, does all of my wonderful thumbnails and things for me. So I want to thank everyone for that added support. Greatly appreciated. I want to thank the rest of you guys for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube. And until I see all of you next time, please stay safe and healthy, and happy reading.